What has Lent meant? Since it's Lent, I'd like to share with you a quote from Deuteronomy 4:40. "Thou shalt keep therefore God's statutes and God's commandments, which I command thee this day, that it may go well with thee and with thy children after thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days upon the earth, which the Lord thy God giveth thee forever." Now, if I were going to translate that biblical quotation to my high school students in a Bible as literature class, I would do so as follows. Live your life wisely. Follow the age-old wisdom of doing the right thing. Never deviate from this, no matter how much peer pressure may cloud your vision. This will help you live a far happier, healthier, and more abundant life. Those who don't live by these tried and true laws of love and purity will lose much, both in their immediate and their future lives. Sure, you all must think for yourselves, but think long and hard before defying the tried and true spiritual laws and commandments. Most of them are there to help you all achieve your wishes. They may at times seem like those pesky stop signs out there that you all don't like. They seem like hindrances to your goal, but ultimately they help a lot of traffic get to their destinations surely and safely. And that is what Lent has meant and what it can do for you. It's an opportunity for you to put a bit of structure into your life, structure that can better guide you to your desired destination. If you give up something, like alcohol, coffee, or an hour a day to meditate, pray, and read spiritual books, perhaps it can serve as a reminder of your commitment to your spiritual life. Temporary structure can be an external tool for building your internal temple. It isn't an end in and of itself, what you give up, but every time you don't indulge in what you give up for Lent, it's like a wake-up call. Kind of like setting your watch alarm to go off once an hour so you can pray, or the call to pray 5 times a day for the Muslims, or the Buddhist call to meditate 6 times a day. You don't sin if you don't do it. We don't believe that at Unity. You just cheat yourself out of a reminder to recommit to your spiritual goal. Every morning before rising during Lent, try to rededicate yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally to your spiritual path. Then let your Lenten resolve serve as a reminder every time that you do or don't do whatever it is you've committed to for Lent. The ultimate goal of it all is to transform yourself into a higher version of yourself, which is really just remembering who you are, divine. The physical act recalibrates your mind and your emotions every time you do or don't do what you've committed to. It's not so much the relinquished Hershey bar or beer or caffeinated cappuccino that's the focus, though omitting these might be helpful for body, mind, and emotions. Denying these spiritual habitual patterns is a tool. It's a reminder of what you're really about, what you are doing in your life. We forget what we're really doing sometimes on the way, having to do all those other things. So don't cheat yourself and give up pickles for Lent like I did as a clever 10-year-old one time. True confession here. You might feel like you've outsmarted the priest or your conscience, but you'll probably gain nothing. and you'll miss your opportunity to truly grow. Now back to my high school literature class. To explain some of these principles to them, I may tell them a story. They love stories. And a story that they're all familiar with, but probably never understood. The Three Little Pigs. I've been accused every time there's a holiday of telling an animal story. I told the spider story for Easter, so you'll forgive me. But like most fairy tales and spiritual stories, this one, The Three Little Pigs from the 1600s, contains deep wisdom. In fact, I spent a whole semester at graduate school at Tulane studying French fairy tales. And I'll tell you that Jean-Paul Sartre and Voltaire and Rousseau don't have anything over these fairy tale authors. Like Perrault, who wrote the Mother Goose stories, remember Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty and Bluebeard? They're really deep. In ancient times, people weren't as well educated and sophisticated as we are, so they talked about all of these conflicts that they had in their lives by telling animal stories. So here we go. Once upon a time, there was a mama pig and her three little pigs. The mama pig was very, very poor, and she did not have enough to keep her little pigs any longer. She was a mother who had fallen on hard times. Her whole life was crashing in around her. She was going to have to give up her children because she didn't have enough money to feed them. So she sent them out on their own to seek their fortunes. The first went off and met a man with a bundle of straw and said to him, "Please, mister, give me some of your straw so that I can build a house." The man did, and the little pig built a house out of straw. Soon after came along the wolf. There's an ancient saying, you probably remember, the wolf is at the door, which means that some type of bad situation has come into your household or into your life. The wolf has come to the door. Well, the wolf knocked at the door and said, little pig, let me come in." To which the pig answered, "No, no, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." The wolf then answered, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in and he ate up the little pig. The second little pig met a man with a bundle of sticks and said, "Please, mister, give me some of those sticks to build my house," which the man did. And the pig built his house of sticks. Then along came the wolf and said, little pig, let me come in." The little pig said, "No, no, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." The wolf answered, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in and he ate the second little pig. I'm in Doberman Rescue. This is a little hard for me, but follow along. The third little pig met a man with a load of bricks. He pondered a bit before he made his choice and finally said, "Mister, would you please give me some of those bricks to build me a house?" The man did, and the third pig built a strong brick house. Then the wolf came by, he knocked at the door and said, "Let me in." When the third little piggy said, "Not on my chinny chin chin," the wolf howled, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And he huffed and he puffed, but he could not blow the house in. So he thought, I'll just outsmart this pig. "I know," he said to the little pig, "I know where there's a big field of turnips. Would you like to go get some with me?" "Sure thing," says the third little piggy. "Where are they? And when do we go?" The wolf answered, "They're over at Farmer McPherson's. I'll come by at 7 a.m. to get you." At 7 the next day, the wolf knocked on the door of the third piggy's brick house. The little piggy called out from the second-story window and said, "Hello, Mr. Wolf." The wolf said, "Come on down and open your door, little piggy, so we can go get those fine turnips over at Farmer McPherson's field." The little pig answered, "Oh, Mr. Wolf, those turnips were fine indeed. I couldn't wait, so I went over there at 6 this morning and came home and cooked a delicious porridge. Thank you for the tip." What kind of choices are we going to make to build our houses, our lives? Do we build them out of straw or sticks, or do we build them out of bricks? And once we've built our lives, are we going to be wise and discriminating enough to maintain them like the smart pig did? That is, do we let our lower self, our wolf self, destroy our lives? Or do we live within wise brick structures that keep us safe on the road to success and true happiness? It's our choice. How easy or difficult do we want to make our lives? We can squander our God-given talents and resources, or we can do what really, in the long run, works for us. What structures, what rules, what eternal laws and truths build solid houses of bricks? Do you think about that sometimes? The Three Little Pigs, like so many other age-old tales, is a story not about building a house. It's about soul choices. We need to realize that we can build brick houses. We don't need to settle for straw or sticks, but it is always our choice. Those bricks are the safe structures, the rules and the eternal laws of wisdom that we commit to in order to get us to our true destination of living better lives, happier lives, more abundant lives, and being the people that we really want to be and that we really are. And giving up something during Lent can help us jump-start that process by serving as daily reminders of our goal, which is the kingdom of heaven on earth, a stress-free, happy, harmonious life, a Christ-like life of love and compassion, sincerity, honesty, and purity. Sure, we can be free of rules, free of structure. We can run stoplights, we can go down one-way streets and barrel right through Jackson Square in our car. And we might feel great and free for a while and even get to our destination a little bit quicker. But sooner or later, if we live that way, we're going to crash into some obstacles. And when we're sitting in our crashed car, or maybe central lockup, we're going to probably wish that we had observed a few of those pesky restrictions that we thought were just clipping our wings and stealing our freedom, but which in reality are usually there to help us negotiate life better in the long run. There are reasons for giving up certain so-called freedoms. We get something greater. We get to become something greater. We can get instant gratification in life and take the first thing that comes along and do the easy thing, like lying and cheating and treating others like objects. This is building a straw house. Or we can make the right choices of always being fair and honest and honorable and caring toward others, that in the end will make our lives a whole lot better and make the world better for us to live in. And Lent is a time to jumpstart this process of committing to that which will enhance your years on this planet. So every time you sacrifice that Dunkin' Donut, daiquiri, or decadent dining day and choose a fruit salad, herbal tea, or exercise instead, don't think of it as giving up your freedom or some ancient dogma that you don't want anything to do with anymore. View it as a way to train your higher self to take over your life. Higher selves need a little help. They need a little training. One reminder at a time so that your dreams can come true, being the person you really want to be. Each so-called sacrifice is a wake-up call to what you are really about. Sure, push-ups and workouts probably seemed beneath Drew Brees at one time, but he knew their importance, and he did them all the way to the Super Bowl. Matthew 7:24 has its version of the 3 little pigs. It says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on rock." What does that mean, to build your house on a foundation of rock? It means to build your life every day and in every way, in a spiritual way, block by block, brick by brick, thought by thought, word by word. Just like Drew Brees built his body and mind through daily training. Building your life in a spiritual way means not getting distracted by passing influences that do not reflect the eternal values of love and compassion for all living beings. We are all one. We know that at Unity. We are all connected. We are all, each of us, part of the divine. So whatever you do to the least of these, you do unto me. The bricks represent all the tried and true laws of wisdom, which reflect this oneness of all life and interconnectedness of all things. They are the laws that endure and offer a safe haven for us, safe haven. But we have to assemble them, choice by choice, day by day. This builds your house of bricks, safe and secure for you to live in. It can't be destroyed by the outer wolf influences. And that is the jump start that Lent can offer you, a new commitment, 6 weeks of remembering that commitment all day at every turn, every time you decline a piece of chocolate or whatever you've chosen, hopefully not pickles. Whenever the wolf comes to your door in the form of anger, resentment, jealousy, or the temptation to gossip or be unkind, go within. Turn it over to God so that you can see the situation differently and not react in the same old way. And that doesn't mean that you deny that the wolf is there. It means that you overcome the wolf influences in your life. The wolf influences being your lower self, your wolf self. In Matthew 7:13, it says, "Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road easy that leads to destruction, and there are many who take it." We have many choices. At times, it seems like the easy choices are fine because we get what we think we want. We disregard all the stop signs and one-way restrictions, and we get there a little faster. But if we use our wisdom, we'll be able to discriminate and know that things aren't always what they seem, even if the cars in front of you are doing it, following the path to perdition usually. Matthew 7:14 tells us, "For the gate is narrow and the road is hard that leads to life, and there are few who find it. Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorns or figs from thistles? In the same way, every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit." Every time that every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus you will know them by their fruits. There are certainly wolves in sheep's clothing, as was the wolf who acted nice to the third pig in the story. These false prophets may come in the form of societal influences, maybe gossiping, cheating, or disregarding others who aren't of use to us. Whatever tempts us to give in to acting in a less than noble, kind, and compassionate way is the wide gate that many go through, but that ultimately creates suffering, not only for the person that goes through it, but for everyone else too. False prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing may be the guy in the commercial who says, buy these cigarettes and you'll look cool. Maybe the false prophets make you think it's okay to dislike or discount certain people or groups of people. Maybe false prophets influence you to not care about the environment or animals. Maybe false prophets in wolves' clothing tell you it's okay to cheat, as if it's in business. Buyer beware. Bottom line, the Lenten season is a time to recommit to your spiritual path. And if you give up something unhealthy or add something that is good for you, you get a twofer. You not only remind yourself of your goal every time you don't partake of that daiquiri, donut, or double mocha, but you'll be getting healthier too. And remember to ask Spirit for help to rebuild your life with bricks. You don't have to do this alone. It is very, very difficult sometimes to take the high road, the narrow gate. Ask God for help. Ask the other people in your spiritual sangha. You see them all right here. Ask them for help. We're all human. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. So as you rebuild your house of bricks on a foundation of stone this Lenten season, know that you are building your kingdom of heaven right here, right now on earth. And be grateful that you have the wisdom and the tools to do so. And that is what Lent has meant throughout the ages. Amen.